return, the awakening, the resurrection, anything else that sounds like it could be in a cliche sequel to a movie.
A threequel,
the threequel, yes. Mm-hmm. What if a film series even dares feel like they're up to that challenge, to feel like they're good enough to go to that point, what I'm saying?
Unlike Shrek Movie 3, which sucks.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, ILS, In Living Spanglish, Ricardo Mexicano, the only man that matters on this show is back, baby. I mean, I know y'all missed it. I know you missed it, this eloquent, supple, just anything that has to do with richness, with the vibe, with royalty, with just swag, with, the drip and everything. I'm back, baby. It's ILS season 3. We out here. I'm really getting dangerous. You know what it is, man. Shout out to everybody on the West Coast, East Coast, down south, up north, Midwest, Chi-Town, I see you.
So shout out to literally everyone around the world.
Except you.
Okay. All right. Hi, folks. Hi, mi gente. It is back in Living Spanglish season 3, and I am your co-host here, Vero Fuerte, with my homie from, just from forever and ever and ever, Mexicano. All right. What are we doing first, man? My gosh, it feels like forever. Are we doing
It is.
birthdays?
We're doing a catch-up.
Yeah, we're doing a catch-up.
We're doing a catch-up, man. Like make sure to talk it to the mic directly. Like this. Boom, boom, boom. As much as you can. Mm-hmm. And if you have to turn it, don't be afraid to turn the mic as well.
Okay. All right. Are you through coaching me on air?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not done. Nah. But so all seriousness, it's good to be back. Well, we took a pretty extensive break. What was the last episode? It was
like the second week of May.
Second week of May, yeah. It was.
So what's been going on with you since then, Mexicano? Like I don't live with you under the same roof.
I mean, it's been a lot of the same thing. A lot of work obviously is always a grind. It's only gotten more and more since then. Just still adapting, still trying to understand what exactly my role is a year in. It's been officially like a year as of September 1st that I've been working there. Mm-hmm. So there's that, but it's also just a means of just me evolving as a person, me, trying to get better as to see myself as like a worthy person. Of course there's that. And of course there's all the other things, just me, just vibing with people, making beats, making content, just, me being me. So, I don't stop when it comes to that.
Yeah. Of course. Can't stop, won't stop. And me, myself, and I, my gosh, I don't know, just on the surface stuff, I got certification to be a Spanish interpreter. So shouts out to that. That's been a crazy long journey, especially for someone who, forgot all her Spanish growing up and made it her mission to not just relearn the language, but relearn it to a point where she could interpret for those people in need. So that was a big deal. I got a cat, so shout out to my favorite guy in the universe, Frank Ocean.
Yeah, where is he right now?
I don't know. He's probably out
probably went to the kitchen.
Chewing something or peeing on something, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. We're finally experiencing the great joys of what it is to have a creature such as a Franklin walk around on a daily basis.
Franklin, Frankenstein, Frank Ocean, you already know. Here's the thing is that I've learned that pet people are just as annoying as baby people, because as soon as anybody gives me the slightest chance at all, I will talk their fucking ear off.
Oh, if not worse. I was gonna say, if not worse, sometimes.
It is and the thing is, it's so incredibly meta because if you start talking about your animal to somebody else with an animal, they'll look you in the eyes and suddenly there's an understanding, and they'll start pulling out their phone and flipping through all these photos of their animal doing the most innocuous shit that you don't give a damn about.
No.
But if it was your animal, you're like, oh no, but my animal does it the cutest shit ever,
mm-hmm.
And I never thought I'd be that person, but I am so completely that person, and I'm okay with it. I made peace with it.
You become what you hate.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, other than that, Vero Fuerte back on the dating scene, so I've been bumbling it up, plenty of stories to go along with that. I'm sure we'll dive deep into them in a later season. So that's been really exciting. And, just like you said, just trying to be the best version of me, trying to figure out what that version of me is and how we can cultivate a better community and communion and just creative space for us, just being the best us. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. And me, I'm still single. But I'm enjoying it, of course. But shout out to all the single mothers out there. I love all of y'all. Especially the ones that's been, left behind in the dust by a man, done dirty. I'm feeling for you. I'm out here, thinking about you, whoever you are.
Yeah, Mexicanos just a call away, ladies.
You dig? Come on. I ain't finna raise no child, but I'm a call away.
Okay, all right. So what we have coming up next is, you guys already know it, you guys already love it, is the Latinx birthdays. So of course, we have a lot of Latinos birthdays that came through since we've been gone. But the ones that we're going to mention for the month of September is September 1st, happy birthday to Gloria Estefan. And then September 10th, happy birthday to Jose Feliciano. So Jose Feliciano, fun fact, is a Puerto Rican guitarist, most famous for writing the song Feliz Navidad that we all know and love. So happy birthday to those two.
A classic. Yeah.
And so what do we have going on in the news today, Mexicano?
What do we have going on in the news, Vero? Because I don't have my notes. Could you please give me a quick refresher of what's going on? I think there's something regarding the decriminalization of abortion in Mexico. That's a big one. You want to hit on that right quick?
Yeah. So it was put out yesterday through the Gram and then verified through various news sources that the Supreme Court in Mexico officially decriminalized abortion. So shouts out to them. That's just whether you believe it in it or not. It's just a historic moment in history, and you love to see. You love to see change being made the right way, and it's a really exciting time, and it's something that Mexico, being as religion based as it is, they don't have as fierce as what we're supposed to have with the separation of church and state here in the United States. Like their church and state is very much woven into each other. So the fact that they've made this kind of change, it's monumental. It's a big ass deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that, because you would think that certain countries would try to mirror that separation of church and state that we have here, but we clearly see with some decisions that have been made lately, those lines often get pretty blurry of like what's influencing what, especially in some particular states.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's always that big controversy, but it's crazy. And just talking about what the recent changes in Mexico and over here, I mean, some people were saying like, will some American women be forced to go to another country, to have this procedure done when they can't have it done here after a certain number of weeks, Like it's ironic that it's the inverse.
6 weeks.
In the state of Texas, yeah. Like it's crazy the inverse now. How like previously it was Mexican women from Mexico coming over to the U.S. to get certain procedures done, and now we can possibly see the other side of the coin, the reverse of that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and don't get me wrong, like people still go to other countries to get other surgeries.
Yeah, of course.
Because probably they're cheaper or whatever. But as far as legalities go and like safety goes, we've always been the country that people fly to get that shit done. But not anymore. Not anymore. And what does that say as far as like the infringement on our rights and stuff? Like, I mean, that's up for you guys to decide. But I mean, just shout out to Mexico. It's like I said, you love to see it. So
yeah. So one of the next little like lightheartedness to round out the middle between these two more heavier topics. The last one's a little bit more heavier. Is the expansion of Topo Chico. So for people who don't know, Topo Chico is a very beloved mineral water that originates from Mexico, and previously for many years that it had only been distributed obviously in Mexico. But through various states in the United States, such as Texas, Arizona, California. But as of what really kind of made it more available to other states and where it became more widely recognized was because in 2017, Coca-Cola actually, I can't remember if they purchased a stake in the company or if they purchased the distribution rights. But in the United States, they distribute all Topo Chico bottles. So because of that, and Coca-Cola being Coca-Cola, they had a wider access to certain hubs, certain networks,
distribution in general.
So because of that, now it's available in all 50 states, and so now you're kind of having this renaissance where people like in New York have never seen it in their life, and now they're getting a chance to finally try it and like really see how amazing it is. So like there's like hipsters in like Williamsburg, Brooklyn, who are like trying Topo Chico for the first time.
I know.
Thinking,
and they're gonna glom onto thinking that they're the first ones ever.
Well, yeah, they're thinking that it's like this very like secret subculture kind of drink, when really it's been really a conglomerate between Coca-Cola and a company down in Mexico. So whereas previously was kind of like this very like not underground, but it was a very kind of like unique local thing to a lot of places.
Very regional thing between California and Texas and Mexico.
Yeah. Now it's a lot more accessible. So it's just great to see that they finally are having that big reach with the wider audience in the United States.
Shout out Topo Chicos, man. We keep that shit on stock.
I mean, I try to. That was another thing I read in the article. Because like everything else, there's been a shortage of stuff. Topo Chico has also been affected. And lately, for the past 3 weeks, that's why you haven't seen it here lately, because it's hard to find.
Yeah, I've been looking for some of my own bottles in it. Like, it's been hard to find in the stores, too. So, yeah. But, yeah, no, absolutely. And then the last story, Mexicano, that we have coming up? Yeah, kind of like, a lot more sentimental. So, tomorrow, we're recording this on September 10th. So, tomorrow is obviously September 11th. September 11th.
So, very monumental day in the United States. A day that, most people living alive today remember. And it, pretty much changed, how we've gone from then till now. And, it's crazy just looking at the recent events that's happened with us leaving Afghanistan and just how kind of like history repeats itself with like kind of like the commotion and like the craziness going on over there like it did back in 2001, 2002, 2003. But with that, kind of like wanted to like dive into like a little smaller segment regarding certain people who were part of the cleanup crew. Not at Ground Zero, but more so like the buildings that were kind of affected by the towers coming down, and how most of those people are of like immigrants. They're immigrants, they're immigrant descent, and most of them are here illegally. And because of that, a lot of them have like suffered a lot of what would you say, kind of like
side effects.
Medical side effects from like breathing in the dust,
medical illness, asbestos. I mean, that shit cannot be good for you.
No, of course. And a lot of people have developed a lot of critical conditions because of this. And because of their illegal status, most of them are afraid to go to a medical facility or even like just ask if there's anything available for them, which I later found out there was for people who helped clean up after September 11th. But because these people usually don't speak English and aren't usually tapped into these networks, they probably don't even find about the free services that are available.
Yeah.
So it just kind of goes to show you that, and there are people still suffering because of this. I read the article.
Yeah, because a lot of those things can be long-term health effects.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Can follow you around for years.
And not just physical, like mental. There's people that still suffer from PTSD because you got to realize they were going into these buildings and seeing people, and they were there while cleaning. They would see people's bodies being dragged out. Because it was like still bodies to be unearthed from the ground.
Excavated.
So there's people that like suffer from like mental illness as well as like physical illness now that are everlasting, and all they want is just some decent medical care. But because of like their situation, a lot of them see like no choice other than to either go back or somehow make it big, and hopefully they get like a settlement out of what the dust and all that had done to their body.
That's just so wild to me, because you think about like the fact that they were the main ones. I don't know if ironic is the right word, that those people who are technically not actual citizens of our country were the ones that had to clean up the mess of, our terrorism and our war. And the very least that we can do is try to take care of them after all of this time. And it's just, I don't know, it's just the most ironic shit ever. And it's just so, I don't know, in some weird idealistic version of America, what we think being American is, it feels like the very antithesis of that.
Yeah, it does kind of just go to show that, while you think that oftentimes those type of people get celebrated, there's always going to be that faction that could go completely unnoticed and forgotten about, pretty much essentially, just because that they don't have the legal right to be here. So, some people see it as not their problem. So, very sad situation, but it's just really one of those smaller things you have to think about when it comes to the effects that day,
Yeah.
caused since then.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. I mean, and then it goes on a smaller scale too. Like people that do provide cleaning services and things like that. I mean, think about the amount of fumes that they breathe in, right? I mean that I'm sure that has some sort of like ranking of like effects too, even if it's on a smaller scale.
Yeah, for sure. All right, you want to go into the big new segment that we have coming into season 3?
Yes. So this season 3, we wanted to go ahead and switch things up, do things a little bit differently, and we thought, what better way than to truly rep for the community, to truly rep for the proud city that we live in, right? Then here in Fort Worth, Texas, then to start, just getting really in touch with all the local artists, promoters, movers and shakers here in the city. So we have a wonderful interview coming up here by the none other SmoothVega, and he is a promoter and artist here in Fort Worth, and now he is bringing other people up with him. He has done so much for the community. We cannot wait for you to listen up and just put him even more on the map than he already is.
Yeah. So if you've never heard of him, hopefully this quick interview will kind of provide you with a little bit more insight, and hopefully it will give you some perspective of like how much somebody, even if you've never heard of them before, how much they can have in like a very regional, local kind of scene. So yep, here you go. So yeah, so now moving on to the next thing. So we're currently in the month of September. It is September 10th, like we said previously, and for what a lot of people may not know, and I didn't know this for many years growing up because people just don't really talk about this, it is Hispanic Heritage Month.
That's right. And actually September 16th is going to be Mexican Independence Day también, right?
It is. Yep, and that's one of the reasons why it's celebrated in September. So it goes from September 15th to October 15th, which is a month, but it's weird that it starts at the very middle of the month.
The middle of it. Hey, we do things different out here. It's all right.
But September 15th is significant too because it's the Independence Day of a lot of other Latin American countries, such as El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua. I think there's a lot of countries that celebrate their independence, Latin American base, on September 15th. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
I didn't even know the Mexican Independence Day until I started working in the community center
really?
Literally a month ago.
Really?
Yeah, I just don't. Like you said, if you're not from the country, I mean, and I'm like, my lineage is from Mexico, but like I haven't been to Mexico since I was 8 years old. So no, I don't know when my country had gotten its independence.
That's
other
crazy.
than July 4th.
Oh, that's
you
crazy.
Knew?
Yeah, I knew September 16th, yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't, okay? So
no, there's nothing wrong. Like I said, that's the point. Like some people just don't know, and I get
that's
it.
That's right, and I was one of them.
Yeah, like I get it. But so yeah, I mean, there's not too much to say. I mean, it was started by LBJ back in the 60s. Forget him. And it was actually started as a week before it became a month. It became a month once Reagan got into office. So forget him as well. But yeah,
I don't know nothing about presidents, folks. That's all the history buff over here.
Yeah, and it just kind of like was a way of like kind of like celebrating and kind of like honoring the Hispanic Americans who have contributed to the the country. But I think for me, it kind of like always brings up like this like state of like being as far as like kind of questioning like what it really is to be a Hispanic. What it is to be like a Latino, Latina, because being Hispanic is not a race, right? Being Latino is not a race. We talked about this before.
Between being Latinos and being Hispanic y todo eso.
Yeah, we're not about to get into the minutia of like all of that because we touched on this many times before, but it just really goes to like show you just how complex and how diverse this side of the world is. Like I've always told my friends this. Like I think the discovery of the New World of North America, South America, Central America, everything is probably the most important historical event to ever happen. I think without that, you don't have this that we're looking at right now. None of this exists, and the world history's changed forever.
Like none of this as in what?
Like us being here, like us literally being here.
Well, yeah, Central America, North America, all of that, that's half the world, of course.
Yeah, but the discovery of it.
Yeah, exactly. If
Like,
you didn't discover half the world, none of us would exist.
that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine, like, that's what I think is like one of the most significant things to ever happen. Like, imagine if it never happened. Like, really. Think of like ships and stuff.
The world wouldn't be here.
Think if ships and stuff like that never cross seas.
I don't know. I guess I just don't think about stuff like that.
So you got to think of. You have to like.
I guess.
Okay, you don't have to
think about the voyage of Christopher Columbus and Don Quixote, even though he wasn't an explorer. I don't know why I mentioned him.
Like you don't. Like you don't have to be like specific people, just the motion that was set into play.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to like put names and faces. Like, literally, like just the.
I think about that as far as like my ancestors go. As far as like my parents and my grandparents y todo eso. I don't think about that as an extent of like, the people that are obsessed with like ancestry.com and
I don't even think about it like that.
No, but that does have something to do with it because it has to do with the people that like. Traveled from Europe and then their like great grandfather immigrated here and became an Irish immigrant that worked in a potato factory for like 30 years, whatever.
I guess I'm just looking at it from a more like just impact wise, not so much like the individual ancestry, this and that, and even like a collective ancestry. I'm looking at it from like just the sheer impact that voyage, that trading, slavery, all that had on pretty much every side of every corner of the world.
Well, in about 100 years, we'll see that come again when Elon Musk lands in Mars. So.
Yeah.
Just saying, look out for it, guys. It's gonna be Earth all over again.
Yeah, but
did we learn shit? We did not.
Yeah, but just to kind of cap off this little quick segment, it just really goes to show you the truly the melting pot, the mixture. Like, I don't think you get a more diverse side of the world than this side. Like, they're like all in all, you're a product of a mix of mixed races. I'm a product of mixed races. The majority of us are a product of mixed races. And of course, you have people who are purely European, purely African, purely Asian on this side of the world that like maybe set up shop in Mexico, Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay, what have you. But just the notion that you really don't know what you are, in a sense. They always talk about that when it comes to like black and white kids, right? Mixed kids, right?
Yeah.
They really don't have an identity almost to say. And a lot can be said for Hispanic kids. I don't think they think about it as much, but you really get down to it, it is a lot of time like this validation for to have an identity.
I would almost argue the opposite. I feel like especially with Hispanic kids, I feel like we really like stand for our raza a lot of the times, like what our race is a huge thing of pride for us. I mean, even you have to admit that you literally have like the Mexican flag hanging over your bed, so like in that sense, who we are and where we come from is very, very internalized in us, even as children, like when it comes to Latinos and Hispanics.
Right. And that's because it's just been so many years of like just being this.
Yeah.
Right? Across like generations, like ultimately you have a big enough population that is what it is. It's just this.
Like if you're Colombiano, you're offended if you're called Puerto Rican because you're not from Puerto Rico.
Well, that's more nationality based. When you start getting to that, that's not racist. That's nationality. But that's neither here nor there. I'm talking about like on the bare bone skin, like this, like this, like because you could be Asian and born in Colombia, and you'll still take offense if somebody calls you Puerto Rican because you're truly Colombian. But are you this though? That's what it is. Like,
I don't understand what you're saying.
The mixing. Yeah. The mixing, that's the thing. Like, you could be from anywhere and live somewhere and you will be considered that. But are you this? That's the ultimate thing. Like, are you a product of rape and genocide? Like that. Like, if I didn't want to say these words, but like that's what it is. Like, are you a product of colonization? Because you don't have this without that. Not everybody. Not all countries suffer that.
Who is not a product of rape and genocide?
I'm saying like not all countries suffer in that way where it is like literally classes being created through the mixing of races so you can have a hierarchy of order. Yeah. That's a very unique thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's why you have that's why Latinos, sort of, suffer with an identity crisis in that terms, and that's something that, in that way, And I think that is very interesting because even when you think about the descendants of like who we are as Mexicans, just speaking from like my race, is that like yes, a lot of us are from like uh an indigenous background, like Native Americans, things like that, and also a lot of us, outside of that, a lot of us, do derive from Africa and do
Yeah.
derive from like Europe, and so like we can be European and African American and indigenous, like all in one,
Yeah.
and still be considered just Mexican. And I mean, that is something really fascinating that I've just started getting into when it comes to like my own nationality as a Mexican woman.
Yeah, and it's funny that you bring up the nationality thing again, because I think a lot of times because I think subconsciously we have a hard time identifying what we are, like race wise, skin tone, whatever it may be. That the only thing you have is your nationality at that point. Like you can't identify with anything else but the place you were born.
That's true. And let me tell you, that shit'll get you into some like racially ambiguous conversations like no other mofo. Like I have been called Egyptian, Brazilian, Puerto Rican, Hawaiian. I actually have a friend of a friend that calls me Nani on a regular basis. So yeah, no, I feel that.
Well, I'm sorry to all the Hawaiian women you offend on a daily basis.
Excuse you. Okay. Any whoosies.
All right, what do we have next? What we got going on? Oh, what is it anyway? Are we gonna? Okay. So let's switch it up. A little bit music related. Been a lot of hot topics been going on since we left, but now we're back full in effect.
And we came back just in time for like the biggest release of a big release of like the biggest two albums that have come out in the last couple of months that have caught quite a stir.
Yeah, of course. You already know what it is. Jimmy Brooks, Champagne Poppy, Aubrey Graham.
Jimmy Brooks.
Yeah, Degrassi.
Oh,
yeah, if you know, you know.
Okay. See, all right.
If you know, you know. Come on. He's at it again. He's running amok. He's out here impregnated every single woman that he can come across.
Including emojis.
Including
the worst album cover
even if it results in terrible album covers. Yeah, I hate it very much. But CLB is finally here after a freaking 8 months delay, I think. Because it was supposed to originally be out in January, February, and now we're in September and it's finally out. So Certified Lover Boy out, and a couple weeks prior to that, if you were keeping up with the hip hop sphere, if you're just a fan of music, you may have heard of Mr. Kanye West going crazy with the listening parties. Mercedes-Benz Stadium, maybe you heard about it. Atlanta, Georgia, 2 listening parties in a row. Well, not in a row.
Going crazy, people calling it classic before it even came out.
Not in a row. I didn't call it classic.
Oh, okay, all right. That's not what you said at all. Sitting on this couch saying, "I think, Vero, this might be."
Look, okay, we're gonna get into it in a bit. If you would have heard what I heard on that day, because you didn't hear like.
No, that's true. I didn't listen to the listening party. I ended up listening to like the final album.
Yeah. So 2 listening parties were in Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and then Soldier Field was the host of the 3rd listening party in Chicago, which was appropriate considering the theme of this album, which was mainly revolving around his late great mother, Donda West. And in the middle of all that was some shots being thrown. The
feud continues.
Yeah, like how it's been for a couple years. You thought it was kind of dying down. You thought maybe they had finally settled different. There was talks. There was rumblings.
Ain't nobody ever gonna bury the hatchet with petty ass. What's his name again? Drake.
No, I'm just saying like there was rumblings prior to this happening that they were talking again. And obviously they have each other's phone numbers, so maybe they were trying to do something, and like maybe it got to that point
with wolves finally.
Calabasas is the new Abu Dhabi. Yeah, that is what it was gonna be called. But because of everything that's transpired, and I can't get into it. All right, if y'all really want to find out what's going on, there's
if you really want to keep up with the petty ass drama that is hip hop, that is between like Kanye and Drake, feel free. Like I mostly, if you guys know, I'm in it for the music. I don't deal with the drama or the competition or any of that. But every once in a while you do get sucked in, especially when it comes to me and my men. Yay! So
so yeah,
it's been going down.
So yeah, like she said, a lot of back and forth, a lot of videos out there. I would like to talk about it, but we got other stuff to talk about. We're really going to talk about the music here. So, drama aside, back and forth decide. Let's strictly keep it music. Now, Donda. So I heard pieces.
First impressions, I need to know. Yeah.
Okay. I heard initially pieces of the first listening party. I didn't hear too many of it. So certain songs were kind of like half for me. Some songs I didn't hear at all. And I kind of just forgot about it. Just was just like, all right, don't care. When the actual album comes out, I'll listen to it then. Album still didn't drop. And then second listening party was announced. Now that one, I'm like, all right, I can't wait anymore. Because at this point, he's going to do his thing again where he's not going to drop it. So let me at least catch the second listening party and turn up. Mm-hmm. And my God, that was amazing.
Yeah.
That second listening party was too lit.
I remember coming in from a Bumble day, me walking in through the door, and you were literally almost like just comatose sitting on the couch saying like Vero.
I was flabbergasted.
Yeah.
And maybe it was like the visuals that maybe did it too. Uh-huh. Because like the visuals. It
was a full sensory experience.
Yeah. Plus like having it happening in live time. Like I'm watching it there on Apple Music. The songs I was listening to like the song back to back to back. I'm like, oh my God.
What was the song that gave you the most impact upon like first listen on the second listen part?
Oh, on probably Keep My Spirit Alive. Yeah. 24. I mean off the grid. Yeah, remote control. Yeah, all those four. 24. Well. Keep My Spirit Alive, Off the Grid, and remote. Were probably like the four where like when I heard them, I'm like, oh Jesus, this is insane. Like it was just like, and I think people don't think about this a lot, but the track listing, the order of the track list is very important, very important. So, and what I heard that night, second listening party, was I think to me the track listing was way better. Yeah, it was incredible.
Was it because of, like you said, I was out. I didn't get the privilege of actually listening to the listening party. So was it really that differently rearranged as far as the order of the songs?
Yeah. Yeah, very different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then we move on to the third listening party, which I was a little bit more half on. Mm-hmm. I would kind of tune in because at this point I was kind of done. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, all right, I'm not about to stick around and listen to the same song again, which technically weren't the exact same song because some songs had newer verses. Ye had a new verse on some songs.
Ye being Ye and tweaking things at the last minute.
Yeah, and I was kind of over it at that point. I would I would check in time to time and I would see what was going. When it was finally all said and done, Ye was on fire. Mm-hmm. You know, coming out of a house, literally on fire at the live performance. So it got crazy. You know, it got crazy. And that Sunday, because I think that happened on a Thursday. That Sunday, he dropped the album. He dropped it.
Yeah, that he did. And I screamed in the middle of my bedroom.
But prior to that, I heard it. I'd already heard it through the leaks, you know? Mm-hmm. You know, shout out to all the Kanye leaks hackers out there.
To all the pirates.
Yeah. Shout out to Kanye's cousin for leaking something again.
That's so fucked up.
But, yeah, I listened to it officially. And I still liked it. Mm-hmm. I still like it. I think there is a part of me that feels like, because I don't think it's too long, to be honest. I don't think it's too long. I just kind of feel underwhelmed at certain points. And I know
this is his longest project to date.
Yeah,
it's like an hour 40 something.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's almost 2 hours. Yeah, which is crazy for like anybody. Mm-hmm. 2 hours worth of music.
Scorpion was pretty long too, though.
Scorpion Drake gets that criticism from me too.
Yeah,
Scorpion, and Scorpion to me is.
I remember it felt like it dragged forever, and I listened to it as soon as it dropped because I was in the midst of like his whole thing with him and Future, and like so I.
Pusha T?
Yeah. I don't know why I said Future, but yeah, no. And I remember listening to it in the gym, and I finished with my workout, which never happens before the album was done, and like that's how I knew it was too long.
Oh yeah, no, that album was ridiculous long, and obviously Scorpion doesn't hold a candle to Donda in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But Ye, to me, a lot of people are saying that this is what J.I.K. should have been, Jesus is King. Mm-hmm. I don't think he ever would have released a Jesus is King type album this long, in my opinion. But it does sound like a man who has kind of like found a little middle ground to where like it's obviously still very religious, still very heavy in that tone, but it's not like an overabundance. It's not like it's not super preachy, which I can appreciate.
And you felt like JIK was super preachy. I mean,
Yeah, I
anybody
mean,
who
obviously,
says
and
that it wasn't like, yeah.
I can't say it's super preachy because at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's a
Yeah.
gospel album, right?
Yeah,
So I can't
exactly.
call it. So it's very like
you can't call a gospel album preachy because I mean
it's
it's
an
a gospel
oxymoron.
album. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So like, but the mental state that Kanye was in at the time when it came to JIK, and I feel like where he's come now, especially with the whole divorce happening with Kim, obviously it's probably taken a toll on him. I can only imagine. But where he is now with this album, I feel like this is what we're gonna get, kind of just in his place of where he is.
I'll be honest, and maybe
I couldn't see. I'm sorry to cut you off. I was gonna say I couldn't see Ye making another album but this at this point in time. If that makes sense.
You felt like this was the most like this felt like the most predictably authentic representation of the music that he was going to end up making with everything going on in his life right now.
Yeah, I think that's and I'm glad you said that. I didn't think about that. Predictable, yeah, and I think that's where it ultimately comes down to.
Here's the.
So you can go ahead. I'm done.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And I think that with me, I like I said, I didn't get to listen to any of the listening parties, the first one, the second one, or the third one, and you did. I mean, I did have access to the music prior beforehand if I did want to listen to the tracks, but it just so happened that, I got a chance to listen to the album on Sunday morning, just like everybody else. And the thing is that with Ye albums or with any albums in general, a lot of times what I end up doing is I don't like to give my opinion on music until I've listened to it about 2 or 3 times over. Because first, I don't trust my first impression on shit. I don't, because I'll emotionally react to things. Like I may love something too much and then, listen to it 3 times later and be like, what the fuck was this? I was way too hype. But now that I've listened to Donda maybe about 2 times in total, 1 time most of the way all the way through, I feel honestly, I feel sort of disenchanted. And that is a big thing for me to use because, like I said, we don't stand in this show. Like if we did, we could probably advocate for people like Issa Rae and Kanye West, but we refuse to stand in the show, me including. I don't stand for Kanye West, but I do love him extensively and a lot of the art that he puts out, and I try so very hard to understand where he's coming from whenever he puts out a project and try to see, okay, like what is it that he's trying to create with this, what moment is he trying to do. And with this, I just felt like, first of all, I thought it was really weird that he didn't list any of the features on the album. Did you notice that he did that?
Yeah, we talked about that on the other podcast.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we made that. I brought up that point.
Yeah, I thought that was really weird. And so, like, when I would listen to things like Gel 2, and I'd be like, that sounds really familiar. Who said I had to find out that it was The Baby by, like, Googling it and stuff?
I brought up that point on the other podcast because I hate when artists do that. He's not the first time to do this. A lot of artists do this where they're like list songs and they want to have their features listed, even though obviously they're the feature on it. And I always kind of find it annoying. I'm just like, bro, just list them.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Yeah, like it like that really bothered me. And the fact that I don't know, like Kanye's always been a very collaborative artist, so he's always had a lot of features, like even back like from like pre-graduation and all of that stuff. That's always been his thing. But it's just like now everything just feels very performative. Everything just feels like, I don't know what you're trying to say. Like, I know that you're going through this sort of like religious undertaking and that you're going through all of these things with like Kim and all of that. But to be quite honest with you, like, and I know that we're probably going to get to CLB here in a minute. Like, and I did like some tracks. Let's see. What tracks did I actually like from Donda? And I like a lot of them, but which ones actually gripped me and made me feel like, like, yes, this is a Kanye album. This is like Yay, this is like Pablo, this is like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I liked Off the Grid. Yeah, I liked Keep My Spirit Alive. I liked Jesus Lord, and I liked Come to Life. But I felt like even when I liked songs like Come to Life, it's like I felt like he made them specifically for me to like, just like because they were very like ampy. They were constructed in a way to make you feel good, but it didn't make. I never felt at any point in time that he was trying to tell me how he was feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like there was this wall between me and the music to let me know what Kanye was going through. I didn't feel like I was hearing anything that was super personal. Unlike, and this is what I was about to go into, unlike um oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm blanking on it.
See?
No, not CLB. Life
Pablo?
Life After the Party.
Oh, yeah.
Life of the Party. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah.
You want to get more insight into what that is?
Yeah, Life of the Party is a single that
Not a single.
Whatever.
It's a lead track.
It's a lead track. Whatever. It's a single.
Not a single.
What's the difference?
A single is put out by a record company.
Whatever. Okay, semantics aside, because he wants to show off right now. Life of the Party was a lead track that Drizzy of all people came out with, and it's Kanye West and Andre 3000 for like a good solid 6 minutes,
7 minutes,
6 minutes, and this is it. This is just like a small nugget, a small example of everything that I wanted Donda to be, because everything about that one track was so strongly vulnerable, and yes, Kanye killed it. Like Andre 3000's verses were like phenomenal work, completely out there, and I feel like I got so much more emotion and so much more storytelling out of that 1 6 minute track than I did all of Donda, and frankly all of CLB. I mean, CLB had like CLB was catchy, which was all fine and good, but I don't feel like either Donda or CLB stuck with me the way that this one single track did, which was ridiculous. Out of two of the biggest artists of our time, that they can not let me down. That sounds so fucking pretentious on my end, but that I'm so disenchanted by them right now, but so impressed by this one track just makes me believe that they didn't give me what I wanted or what I thought that I needed, which is fine as one person. They don't have to serve me in particular, but that's just my take.
When you say disenchanted, do you think that has to do with like hype? Did you go into it like very hyped?
No, you know what? Because like I know Ye, and I know his track record of like saying that he's gonna put out something and then saying psych, and then changing things up at the last minute. So I didn't have a lot of my heart invested as to like when Donda was gonna come out, especially after he changed the date like 3 different times. Yeah. So that definitely wasn't the case. It wasn't necessarily an overhypeness. It was just I know Ye's body of work, and I always when I go into listening to one of his albums, I expect to not just hear a story, but also hear the story from a perspective of a man that can look at the world in only a way that he can, and I just didn't get that from Donda personally. Both albums felt kind of shallow, but that's just me.
See, I don't get that.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was definitely saying a lot of things on Donda for sure.
Yeah, I felt like he was trying to say a lot of things, if that makes any sense. And I don't know. And I've never, me, I've always put Kanye in the pedestal of being one of the most authentic artists of our time. Mm-hmm. I've always valued the fact that he is a lot of things. Kanye West is a lot of things, but doing things strictly for attention or strictly for marketing purposes, I just never thought that he would be capable of doing that. And now I just feel like, I don't know, I'm not getting the same sort of artistry that I'm used to. And I'm not saying that that I've fallen off the Kanye bandwagon. I'm just not impressed, and I'm surprised that I'm so unimpressed.
But that's funny because Kanye ultimately has always served himself. Mm-hmm. Right? People want to think that he's making this music so other people connect. And yeah, obviously there is that part of him that genuinely cares that people receive his music in a certain way, and hopefully it helps them out in their life, whether that be just enjoying it to enjoy it or it touching them in a very special way. But ultimately Kanye has proven time and time again that it's about him, right? When he makes music, it's about him. And he's never shied away for that, especially on Pablo, was a
Yeah,
big one,
that's fine. I
especially.
guess I've just come across my first Kanye album that I didn't like 6, 7 albums in, 8, 8, 9,
9.
9.
Yeah.
I think this is the 9th album, if you count like Watch the Throne and all the other
Cruel
collabs.
Summers and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But especially like albums like Dark Fantasy, Yeezus, Life of Pablo, it's about him at the end of the day, right? And I just find it funny that an album that's once again about him is the one is this one in particular that just doesn't jive with you.
I don't know. There's something about it that just doesn't feel truthful to me. And like maybe after I listen to it, like, and somebody else, like this guy that I went out with this one other day, I was telling him about this, and he said, well, maybe it's a grower, and I didn't think about it in that way, like there was a Yeezus was a grower for me, and now it's one of my favorite albums. So who knows? Maybe in 6 months from now I'll feel different, but for right now, like Donda, it's just not gonna for me.
Yeah, that could be true. I definitely love it. I think more in the fact that I really like seeing a lot of the features shine because a lot of the features took up the show.
Yeah, exactly.
And
but that was my big issue.
No, for me, I love it. To me, that was an issue because I just love Ye really giving that platform to like these artists, and I really hear them like pour their soul and like just rap their ass off on certain tracks, and I'm like, yes, like hearing Conway and Westside Gunn on a Kanye track, like this is incredible. Like just knowing and maybe I'm like too invested because I know a lot of these artists like story and I'm super invested when it comes to that. But hearing Fabio verse on Off the Grid going crazy, hearing Playboy Cardi going insane on 2 tracks. Thug, of course, has done stuff with Ye, but this is like, to me, another level for Thug. There's just so many highlights when it came to the features that I'm like, man, I just love that Ye.
Do you think that was intentional for him? I mean, he's, like I said, he's always been a collaborative artist. He's always loved working with other people and putting other people on a pedestal. But do you feel like that was maybe the main purpose of Donda, beside, and so much so where like the story and everything, at least for me, took a backseat?
I feel like maybe he relied a little bit too heavy. Maybe maybe that could be your issue. Maybe he put a little bit too much strength in the features to where he kind of fell back.
Yeah, I didn't get enough like Ye storytelling from that. Yeah, I think we cracked the code. I think that's what it was.
Could be it. But enough about Donda. It's a good album. Go check it out if you still haven't. You know?
Yeah. Make up your own mind.
Yeah. But now moving on to Drizzy Drake, CLB, Certified Lover Boy. I was really hyped about it the first time I listened to it, but I think now on like my 4th or 5th listen, I'm kind of over it. To me, it really just dawned on me like this is the exact same Drake formula, which he does well. That's the thing about it. He does it well, like nobody else. But after like the 4th or 5th spin, it kind of just it's the same old song, same old dance kind of thing. And I'm like, these songs are good. I really love these songs. Champagne Poetry, love it. TSU, love it.
I know. You replayed that thing about like 20 times in one night.
Get Along Better with Your Friends with Ty Dolla $ign. Crazy. What was it? 7 p.m. on Brado Pass. Like good. I'm Too Sexy song. I'm not really a big fan of that. And of course the Girls Like Girls with that lesbian line.
That is the most cheesiest, most
Drake.
No, it's not even a Drake
yes,
thing.
It is.
It's
that is very Drake.
That is not a Drake. It's just so.
This is the second lesbian line. Don't you remember Every Girl in the World with Young Money? This is what Drake said. And are you into girls like I am? Let's be honest.
Oh yeah.
Let's be honest. Let's be. You know, Kanye said that was his favorite verse of the year.
Well, that's because
on his
funny.
old blog.
That's because it's funny.
Yeah. Are you into girls like I am? Let's be honest. Come on.
That's because it's funny, and that sounds like a very like not that like Kanye would say that, but like that's a very like young Kanye line.
Kanye loved it.
Yeah, exactly.
He called his verse
because Kanye loves puns.
Yes.
Kanye's a big fan of puns. But anyway, yeah. So those are your favorite tracks from.
I have more. I just can't think of them on top of my. Knife Talk. What else was there? The one with Lil Durk.
How long did this album run? This one was pretty long too. This was an hour 26.
What's the one with Lil Durk? What was it called again? It was like right after Girls Like Girls. What was that one?
Right after Girls Like Girls.
Yeah.
It was In the Bible.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
With Giveon.
Yeah, Giveon
and love me some Giveon.
Durk is on there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Giveon killed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you never meet him.
Yeah. Oh Why do you have to bestow that curse upon me? Anyway, no, Certified Lover Boy. I mean, first listen, I was totally hyped on it. I loved it, and I think that honestly, like, I was listening to it while I was doing a bunch of other things too, so it might have been just that I fell in love with it, not so much for the verses, but for like the catchiness that like Drake always brings
Yeah.
onto like any album, like whatever. Like, you already know that there's gonna be at least one TikTok worthy song on there. You know that somebody's gonna, that all the Gen Zers or whoever are gonna dance.
I'm Too
to.
Sexy is making the rounds right now.
Exactly. So I mean, we already called it. We already knew. I mean, there's a lot of songs on there that are super catchy, and that's what made me really love it the first time around. I remember me just saying, "Oh, completely blew Donda out of the water. I can't believe it. I can't believe that I have to say this. You know, it's heartbreaking for me to admit that kind of thing." And now, you know,
I don't
obviously,
think it blew Donda out
no,
the
that's
water.
what I'm saying. Now I've like revised that.
Yeah.
Now I equally dislike them or disenchanted by both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that one of the songs that I feel like the last couple of tracks on the album are really, really good and that have really stuck with me. But two that I keep three that I keep going back to was Love All, the one with the Jay-Z feature, and Fair Trade.
Travis Scott.
Yeah. And Fair Trade, not so much because Travis Scott's on it obviously, but just because I don't know, I really like the confidence, and I really like what the song in itself is saying. I remember I was listening to a podcast the other day that they were saying, you know, Drake has now gotten to a point where he has reached a certain level of success where it seems like at this point, if he's still having issues with like girls and with friends and with family, that maybe it's just him, you know? Like you have to take accountability at some point. And
I feel like it's always been him.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Drake is a very sensitive dude.
Doesn't matter.
So
It's always been him.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I love Fair Trade. I love all. Now here, I want you to explain something to me in the world of hip hop, Ricardo.
You like Pipe Down, don't you, too?
What?
You like Pipe Down?
Yeah. Now, like, I need you to break something down with me. When people in the hip hop industry know that two certain individuals are having beef with each other and do not like each other,
mm-hmm.
What's to keep them? Does one of the parties get offended if like their friend goes off and features on the other person's album?
Yeah, that could definitely be seen as a slight.
Exactly, that's what I thought. So like, imagine my surprise when I'm listening to CLB and Love All comes on with Jay-Z, you know, and Jay-Z's like saying all of these different verses, and I'm like, is he referencing, like, is he? I don't understand, because of the whole relationship with Jay-Z and Kanye is sometimes very wishy-washy, and I don't know exactly where they stand. And I know that we said that we weren't going to get into drama, so.
No, I mean, it's very weird because I feel like he's not talking about Ye, man, because just.
But he knows what it looks like when he's saying those kinds of things in a Drake song,
Maybe.
Right? Like,
but
he has to know what he's doing.
Maybe, but I think we give Jay-Z too much credit sometimes. Like, I already told you how I feel about Jay as him not being as smart as I think most people think he is.
Yeah.
And I think some people just give him a little too much credit when it comes to like stuff like this.
That's not even like smart. That's just EQ. That's just emotional intelligence. Like, come on, you're not gonna do a homie like that if you know they're like going through a thing.
Like I said, I personally don't think he's talking about Ye at all. And most people, I don't think this conversation has come up at all really with like major hip hop bloggers.
Yeah, and then there's the third track that I really liked was I Am Y2, with Kid Cudi.
I Miss You Too.
Yeah, and Cudi is Kanye's boy. So again, I don't understand.
Are they?
I mean,
you remember the mental health line? In Two Bird, One Stone?
Here's the thing, though, is that I don't know where the line lies with people. Like, are they mature? I don't feel like these hip hop heads and these rappers are mature enough to say, oh, it's all professional, it's all business. You can go on whatever feature, make your bread, son. It's all cool. Like, I don't believe they're like that. So I do think that they would get offended if you were to get on another song with this other person that you have an issue with. So,
I mean, obviously they were mature enough to, let bygones be bygones for what happened a couple years ago with Cudi and Drake, and
Yeah.
and be able to make a song together. So
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah. I guess. I
Oh,
mean, Certified Lover Boy, super catchy to me.
I was gonna ask one more thing.
Yeah.
Like,
what's up?
do you ultimately get it? If that makes sense.
What do you mean?
Like,
The album?
I think Drake makes a type of music that's, when it comes to like women especially that listen to Drake, it's like certain things he says and certain situations he's in and certain like his personality that I don't know if you get it all the time. Like, what's he like really doing?
Are you talking about me in particular?
Yeah, you specific, because I think you exist in this world where when it comes to like you and like your relationship
You're
with
gonna
men.
find some way to insult me, aren't you?
No. I think when it comes to like you and what type of men you interact with, I don't know if you get what Drake is like really doing out here.
I don't understand what you mean.
Like,
what do you mean? First of all, what do you mean with the type of men that I interact with? And two, what do you mean like as far as like him like what was that line that he used? Oh, I had to like fuck a million bitches to get you, son, or something like that.
Yeah. I think what I mean is like, and when I say the type of guys, like I don't think you mess with the type of guys that's like Drake on a very like even surface level, right?
The pretty boys
yeah,
that can grab anyone. No, because you know me, I'm too egotistical for that.
Exactly.
Like I need that emotional security of like the guy wanting me.
So I think that's what I mean. I'm like, do you get like what Drake is like really doing when it comes to like? Because I get it, right?
Do you mean in the sense that he makes his music mostly for women, but like his rap skills attract the men?
Not at all. I think it's more so like the type of like vibe and swagger you bring when it comes to like knowing what you know, like certain like small details about like how a man will communicate to a girl. And if you're not really in the know of like what that guy is like doing, you can't really figure it out. Like unless you know, like you look at it, like I know exactly what you're doing right now. Like kind of like that kind of thing.
Like when he's like trying to woo women with his lines, I don't understand what you're saying.
It's not like a particular like verbiage. It's just kind of like that feeling. It's just like you know like what he's like doing.
I mean, do you mean that in the sense of like not just Giveon, but who's that other like R&B artist that like people he's starts with an M, he's Hispanic, I don't know, but like just like
Maluma?
No. He's probably not even starts with an M. But anyway,
J Balvin? I don't know. He's a rapper.
No, but like just like any R&B artist that is considered like a heartthrob or so, you know, that probably does get a lot of chicks because of the music that he makes.
Yeah.
Is that what you're referencing to?
No, it's not.
Then I don't understand what you mean when when you say that. I don't get what Drake's trying to do.
Like, I think I mean when I say you don't get, I think I'm more trying to say like, do you feel like you could ever be in the position to where Drake
I would throw my panties at Drake's head?
No. It's not about you being
I would
attracted.
do it at old Billy Joel, but
it's not you being it's not about you throwing your bloomers. It's about it's more about like, do you think you could ever find yourself in a position where you can like snap out of the trance that Drake has you under and be like, oh crap, he's really doing this to me.
Oh,
like
okay.
that's what I mean.
I don't know. I don't think that I would fall for Drake. Didn't we have this conversation? Was it?
Yeah, I mean, I asked you like, what would happen if Drake like asked you to dinner?
Yeah.
And I think you would, because you said you wouldn't know what to do. You said you'd be like so dumbfounded, you would like freeze up and like.
I think what would happen if Drizzy actually asked me out, I would think one or two things would happen. I would either say no right off the bat because I think that it'd be a cruel joke, or two, I would go literally with zero expectations in mind. And I don't even mean that for like sex or anything like that. Literally just so I could order the most expensive dessert off the menu and like have decent conversation and then peace out, because there's no way, and maybe this says more about me internally than anything else, there's no way that I could capture that man's attention genuinely, even though we know that like Drizzy's been known to like
frequent normal girls,
yeah, the normies, I guess is what you would call me, you know, the hairdressers or, you know,
the strippers, the waitress, the bartenders.
Exactly. The podcasters, you know. Exactly. But you know what I'm saying is that I just don't have any faith that I could be able to hold his attention. So I'd be like, hey, give me like the 13-layer ice cream sundae. Let's like chop it up over some music and stuff, and then like peace, bruh. It was nice knowing you for 3 hours.
First of all, you will be wasting most of that 13-layer ice cream knowing you.
Okay, all right. You don't have to go there.
I have to hit you where it hurts.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, Certified Lover Boy, I like it. Donda to me gets like a 7.5. Certified Lover Boy gets a 7. That's it.
Yeah, both probably solid 6s. Maybe CLB is a 6.5 for me.
Okay.
All right, what's next?
So, you know it. You love it. It's the return of mine's, maybe yours, but I know a lot of people listening's favorite segment.
That's right. We got a lot of requests for this one coming back.
It is Conspiracy Esquina.
Conspiracy Corner.
Yes. Conspiracy Corner. You already know what it is. It's back. I mean, you thought I was going to get rid of this? Of course not. It's our money maker. Whatever virtual money that may be.
Mm-hmm.
El Salvador, shout out to you with the Bitcoin thing going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing I want to talk about when it comes to this Conspiracy Corner is, do you know what coriander is?
That's a spice.
Coriander, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to taste like toothpaste.
So it's more commonly known to most people as cilantro, right?
Oh, is that really what it's called?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. So coriander is essentially cilantro. It comes in various ways, but essentially it's just cilantro. So cilantro, I'm gonna say that in my English voice, and cilantro.
Cilantro.
Yeah. So people can understand what I'm saying. Is very split among people because, let's say, and I'm making a huge assumption, 50% of the population thinks it's really, really good. It's delicious. You can put it on your tacos. You can eat it with a variety of food, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the other 50% thinks it tastes like dish soap.
Mm-hmm.
And they hate it, and they can't understand why other people like it. Well, there's a conspiracy that says that coriander essentially tells you whether you are healthy or not. And that when you digest it, if you like it, if you like the taste, then you are probably, your immune system's probably better, and you're probably going to have a more longer lasting life because of it, because you're just genetically already built to kind of, take that in, and it kind of like identify like, oh, this is a healthy person.
Shout out to Mexicanos being the superior race. Yes, right on. Go on.
Not a race. Mexican's not a race. Nationality. Got to bring that back. but yeah, it's kind of almost like a detector, kind of like a little like metal detector, but like leaf form, telling you like, hey, you're good. You're on the right track, and we're in this together, kind of thing. But if you don't like cilantro, people have the theory said that you are probably more prone to diseases, to being sick, and just overall having a very bad health in general. Now you want to take it a little bit further. Some people say that cilantro is not even from this earth, and it was actually from an alien planet that was brought down a long time ago, planted, and then early humans ate it.
What kind of human beings are you having these conversations with, Ricardo?
I'm not. I'm just looking stuff up. I'm not. So yeah, alien plant brought down to Earth. Early humans ate it, and then from there it kind of just spread. Just the human genome and just adapting food into their body, and that's why cilantro has the effect it does. So next time you eat cilantro and you're enjoying it, or maybe not enjoying it, just remember that you could be living a prosperous life, or you could be dying at the very moment.
Yeah.
So that's Conspiracy Corner.
All right, and then to round us out, we have the segment. My personal favorite is a Good Lookin Out. This is where we go ahead and we break you off a piece of what we've been listening, what we've been watching, the things that have really been affecting us and stayed with us all week that we want to share with you. So, Mexicano, you give it to me. What have you been watching, listening to lately?
Nothing. I don't watch anything. I don't listen to anything. I don't have ears. I don't have eyes. What you're seeing right now is a replica of that.
It's just a bunch of cilantro like sewed together.
Pretty much. The CGI.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But all honesty, I've caught a lot of stuff, but what I've recently seen that I really enjoyed was the new Candyman. it's finally out. Came out last Friday, I believe, but I saw it on a when did I go? Sunday? I went on a Sunday.
I don't remember.
I think it was a Sunday. Anyway, I want to go see it. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed the hell out of it. It's
And
great.
for people who have never seen Candyman, like, can you give a synopsis of Candyman with a spoiler?
Yeah. So like this,
Is
so
it a spoiler when it's a remake? That's a
it's not a
discussion all
remake.
in
That's the
its
thing.
own.
That's the thing. You think it's a remake? It's actually a sequel. That's where it gets you. You think you're going into like about to see a remake? No, it's essentially a sequel. If you've seen the first one, it makes a lot of hints towards that one and like various characters and like events that happen. So even if you haven't, the movie does a pretty good way of like introducing certain things that happen if you hadn't seen the first one. So it kind of fills you in, but not overly to where you obviously know every single detail. But it does give you the big chunks.
The synopsis, yeah.
It gives you the big chunks of like what happened in the first one. And from there, kind of leads into the madness of like what's happening in the current age.
Yeah, never seen Candyman. Never even really heard of it a whole lot. Like maybe in corner pockets here and there, but
yeah, I mean, just think of the hassling and slasher, but more gangster and more deadly.
Okay,
So
I can do that.
Instead of a spatula, it's a hook,
Uh-huh.
and he's going around and he's
Was the Hashling and Slasher based off of Candyman, like a parody of sorts?
I don't think so.
No?
Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's a good idea to think about. But just terrorizing people. If you know the whole like trope, say Candyman 3 times in the mirror and he'll appear, and he'll
Bloody Mary.
yeah, but and this one actually changed it to 5 times. Change it to 5 times in the mirror, say it, and he'll come in, pretty much, in your life right then and there. Just drop your body. And like I said, if you've seen the original, you kind of know like the whole motif of like the bees, the certain like look of his body and like like I said, without giving too much away, the whole legend behind him being the Candyman, like the name and all that, and the kind of like the social commentary that the original had, and also in this one obviously with gentrification and like the destruction of like the hood due to like certain communities moving in and pushing other ones out, and it being based in Chicago was Cabrini Greens, being a focal point once again. And this movie definitely deals with like the legacy of the original causes of what led to the myth and the legend and like the being that is Candyman. And this is just the legacy continuing, and just the constant cycle of bad, yes, but also almost like a glimmer of hope of like what he kind of represents. Like there's some good in there, even though it's like wrapped up in a bloody blanket.
Was it scary? Did it scare the shit out of you? Did you like it?
It didn't scare the crap out of me because I'm an alpha and nothing really scares me. But it had its moments, had its little jumps. Yeah, it scared me a little, but it wasn't like I said. For me, I don't really get too scared by most movies. There were some moments where I'm like, where's it going? Like I had to like kind of like look around a bit, like anybody seeing what I'm seeing? Kind of thing. So yeah, definitely in a movie theater setting, it's well worth it just because you get the the jump scares and just all the and it didn't really go too crazy with the jump scares. It was very suspenseful when it came to like the kills and all that. So I really appreciated that. Because this is like a mythological person, so like when you see him, you can't believe like what you're seeing, right? So like when he first shows up, it's not like he has to like jump at you. It's kind of like, oh crap, here's this man. He looks like a regular man.
So like in this world, everybody knows about Candyman the way that people know about Boogeyman, or is it
no? Well, if you know, you know.
Like hearsay, like
if you know like what's really going on, and yeah. But if you don't, to you, it's just like another myth. Yeah.
Okay. So how many Ricardo stars does it get?
I give it a solid 8. Solid 8, man. It was a great movie. Shout out to the Jordan Peele helped produce it. Great movie once again. Just adding to his repertoire of great projects and everything else that he does. Yeah, it's great. Definitely it's gonna be a Halloween.
Do you feel like
funness and all that?
Do you feel like it was? Do you feel like Candyman was refreshing in that it was a movie? Because like you said, it was like not necessarily a remake, but a sequel of sorts, like of a movie that was made back in earlier days before being woke and all of that was super cool, right? So do you feel like it was less cringy than a lot of movies can be now when they try too hard to go for the wokeness?
It was still kind of cringy because I'm glad you brought that up. Because it does, of course, talk about gentrification, and sometimes the wokeness can be a little cringy because when you talk about gentrification, you're obviously gonna talk about a lot of the woke factors. You know, if I were to put it that way, that comes along with that type of dialogue.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does with certain characters, especially one of the brothers. But I don't know. I think it handled it well. I don't think it was like too overt, and it deals with art. Like the main character, he's like an artist, so there's that element in it when it comes to like you wanting to create certain things and how this evil force can really affect that art and like really overtake you.
Oh wow, cool, dope. It might be actually one of the ones that because I don't fucks with horror movies like that, but I might check it out.
You should see the original one. The original one's gory as hell. Like very, very.
I've never seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so I don't know. We'll put it on the list. I'll put it on the list. Okay, all right. And so for my good looking out human beings, I'm sure if you've been on the internet for even like of a speck of a scope in the last 48 hours, you know exactly what I'm going to reference here. Is you know him, you love him, you've missed him for the past 20-something years, but he was back to grace us with his presence in the form of a Nick Jr. video. And we are talking about our good friend Steve. So about 2 days ago, I was surfing through the internet, and of course what comes across my Facebook timeline is a video of our good friend Steve from Blue's Clues just catching up with us and letting us know that, because you remember what happened, right? Do you remember that watching the episode where he sort of just like tossed the baton, so to speak, to his brother Joe?
Veronica, I don't think I ever told you about this. What? But when it comes to Blue's Clues in my family, it is an obsession. We loved it. The chair, the red chair, we had the chair. Handy dandy notebook, had it. Still got a blanket from '98 in my mom's closet.
Recite the Mailbox for Me song.
I'm not about to do that.
Why not?
Because I don't want to. But I know it. Here's the mail that never fails.
Yeah, okay. I'll believe it when I hear it. Yeah, okay.
Here's the mail that never fails. That makes me want to. Come on, you can't do it. It's a letter from our friends. Like, come on.
Yeah,
like I know all the bits. Come on. Shovel and Pill.
I did not know this side of you, Mexicano.
Yeah, come on. Like Blue's Clues is like integral to the Mexicano story.
Ah.
It's everything.
Okay.
Eddie, my little brother, he had the green striped shirt, the khakis, looking like Steve.
They sold the shirt? I didn't even know they sold the shirt out
like
there
this is every day from me. It's elementary, literally.
I remember having the little notebook. Like that's one thing that I did have that I begged my mom for is the actual like magic notebook.
Had the musical, on VHS when they put on a musical and all that.
So yes, you did see when he passed it on to Joe.
Of course.
Do you remember that moment? What was that moment like for you, Mexicano?
It was weird. It was like, okay, like I understand you're going to school. I did feel like when I just understood like what school was, so I'm like, it's important, so he has to go, kind of thing. I didn't cry. I didn't like do it. I'm an alpha even back then.
You know what it was? Is that what's so messed up is that even as a kid, I think this is the benefits of like having uncles and aunts that are like 8 to 10 years older than you. So they were watching these shows with me while I was like 5 or 6 or 7 years old, and they were standing there next to me. They're like, he's really not going to school. They're doing it because he and like this is not fiction, you guys. I mean, this is not fact. But my uncle told me, he's like, he's doing it because he was on drugs or like he has cancer.
That was the rumor for so long.
That's what I thought. That's literally how I've lived my life.
That rumor spread everywhere.
And you know what? He had the baseball cap, so I didn't know if like he really did it. He did really get sick, and he was wearing the hat to like cover up his loss of hair.
He wanted to do music. He
joined
the rock band.
That's what it was.
That's all it
Steve
was.
went to go join a band.
I remember I watched the 10th anniversary of it on Nickelodeon back in 2008, 7 or 8, because I think the show premiered in 98, 97. And Steve was on it, and he was like, yeah, I heard all these crazy rumors. He was like, I just wanted to be in a rock band. That was it. I just wanted to make music. And
so why is he coming back lying to us, telling us that he went to school? Okay, it's not like we're his parents or nothing.
I mean, come on, you gotta, you can't disappoint the kids.
Whatever.
So you gotta tell them something.
But we're not kids anymore. He even said he even referenced our student loans.
Exactly. He knows we're ready now. But he did go to school. He said he loved it. He learned a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, shouts out to Steve. You know, he came across my timeline when I think not just I needed it, but when a bunch of us sorely needed it. You know, it was nice to see a flash from the past, and I don't know, like it was very heartwarming to me. What was your impression on it, Mexicano?
Oh, I loved it. Like I said, like Blue's Clues to me is a very important thing. Like it was like I think that along with SpongeBob is like what really propelled me to like learn English. Like really, you know, watching that and just just the fun because it was like it was fun, it was entertaining, and it felt like to me Blue's Clues felt like it never was talking down to me, even though literally it's for kids, which you're gonna do that to an extent, but it didn't feel contrived or like forced, if that makes sense.
Did you ever register as a kid that he was like doing sign language to you at the time? I did not have any idea.
He did that all the time. He did the thank you.
Yeah, I had no idea.
He did the thank you thing all the time. And I loved all the characters, Shovel and Pail, Mailbox, Mr. Salt, Mr. Pepper, and then Paprika was born. Periwinkle, Magenta. The little kid that would show up in the mail. And I always used to question, like, they don't live there. You're like, that's not true. The kids don't live in mail in postal cards.
Yeah. Okay, that's the most fictional. That's the most unbelievable part of that whole show. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Or the thinking chair, of course. The thinking chair song. The ending song. Thanks for doing your part. You so are smart. Thanks to you and me and you and my pal Blue, we could do anything. Yeah, like it's everything to me. Yeah, it's like I said, it's an integral part. It's a lot. So seeing him show up, I didn't get because I'm an alpha and like I'm kidding.
Like the third time in this podcast.
I'm kidding. No, but I don't know. Like I get sentimental. I wish I could get a little bit more though, if that makes sense. Like there's just a part of me where it's like, this is nice, but how much you getting for this, Steve? Like, who's cutting that check?
Oh, but that's where you win.
Like, I don't think he's being dishonest. I don't think he's like being fictional in his like
it's
feeling.
One video. I can't imagine that they would have paid him that much to do one video. I think
it depends, man. Like, it's because he said that he's stated many times that he just doesn't want to do it anymore. So I don't know if they forced them, but I'm pretty sure they cut him a nice Nickelodeon Viacom cut the check. So like. Shout out to Steve though. No, I appreciate it. I'm pretty sure he took the time to like actually do this and like really give closure, to the Blue's Clues.
The second thing you've disenchanted me from Mexicano. First DONDA, now Steve.
I appreciate it. I think it's heartwarming. I think it's amazing. Yeah. Shout out to Steve. Shout out to Joe too. Joe's a legend in his own right. I know people getting flacked when he went, but Joe was amazing too, man. He brought his own vibe to the show. So I love him, and I can't remember the other guy's name, the new host.
I don't even know. Like I stopped watching after Joe. Like I'll be honest, but there's
only been 3 hosts. That's it.
See, I never knew the third one.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was basically my Good Looking Out. Is the Blue's Clues video. Like if you guys haven't checked it, I'm sure that you'll find it across your timeline. If not, it's easily Googleable. But yeah, I mean, I give it for nostalgia's sake. 9 out of 10 Veronica stars. Like it's heartwarming. It's like something that you need to watch and it'll just make you feel good inside. So that I think, what do you say, Mexicano? Is that our show?
That's it.
Yeah, all right. Well, thanks so much for rolling with us. You guys, you already know what it is. It's ILS season 3. We're coming at you big this season, so stick around. And in the words of our good friend Steve, we just want to say we never forgot you. Ever, and we're super glad we're still friends. This has been ILS. We out.
My hope is that you see how Spanglish has closed the gap and formed a synergistic approach for communication. Thank you.